Hey guys, King of Charmander's here. Today I will be a judge, your jury, and your analyst. And I know Open Ultra League isn't till literally like next week. However, I wanted to do an early meta-analysis because there is not really a few changes, more like kind of like very few changes, just because Open Ultra League has a pretty stable meta. But there's a few things worth looking into. So without further ado, as I always say, please consider contributing to pvpoke.com. And so for episode 426.9, I mean, you know the ranking, you know, Open Ultra League. It's been out since the preseason, and it's back. It's going to come back again, and again, and the next day, and the next day. You ever watch that SpongeBob episode where, like, Mr. Krabs is, like, walking away, and he's like, and the next day, and the next day. It's gonna be Go Battle League until they actually, like, change the system or something like that. Anyways, as you see here, we have the Open Ultra League meta, and it hasn't changed a lot. As you see, the greatest thing that's pretty much changed the entire meta is basically Talonflame when it released earlier this year. However, there are a few changes for Open Ultra League that are worth looking into. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright, overall, some things don't change. Literally, you have Registeel XL, #1 overall. It literally hasn't changed too much. Registeel did get an upgrade like 2 seasons ago just because Focus Blast got its original value, because Niantic finally woke up and realized that nerfing Focus Blast by 10 damage doesn't really matter that much. Thank God. Now, if they could just bring back Flash Cannon, Registeel will probably have a lot higher of a rating. Anyways, as you see here, Registeel, Cresselia, and of course the Pancake, the Flip-Flop, the Maple Syrup Pancake, well, I think that's the regular one, so this one's more like the chocolate chip, the burnt one, the molasses pancake. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyways, G-Fisk is a top 3 mon, and you've probably seen it a lot in Open Ultra League now, especially with the whole Galarian Shiny event. A lot of people were hatching these things, so you probably will see a ton of XLs running around this season and for the future. But as you see here, a lot of strong things are a lot of the old meta still range true. Legendaries are still obscenely powerful, as in Cresselia and Swampert. A few new things have made their way into the overall meta. As you see here, Cofregus XL, the floating 6-armed coffin of death with more arms than Machoke, well, not Machoke, Machamp, is actually incredibly powerful in this cup. Shadow Claw and Shadow Ball allows it to absolutely do some damage against a lot of top metas such as Giratina, Cresselia, and Togekiss, as well as Metal. As you see, it's a really great mon overall. Only succumbing to the heavy dark type meta, which, well, yeah, there is the heavy dark type meta. Umbreon XL, Lolamuck, Obstagoon, etc. of course makes Ghosts a little dangerous, but Cofregus XL has made its way over here. There's also another mon that's made its particular way over here. It's not on this exact list, but I'll show you it's going to be coming up pretty soon. Also, Gradient is actually pretty good overall in Open Ultra League. It has the ability to essentially beat, as you see, it beats the big three. Not really the big three. I would say the big three is Registeel, Cresselia, and G-Fisk. However, they're the other big three, which is Giratina, Altered, Swampert, and Cresselia. So, as you see here, it beats those 3 pretty convincingly, and Body Slam deals a ton of damage. So, it's a really great mon, and I definitely would consider using it. Alright, next we got the lead. So, this is the leads, the 2-shield scenario. As you see here, not many things have changed, except now that in the coast of America, the 50 states of the United States of America, which is the representative, the Hawk, the Pidgeot, is finally unbanned, and you can finally use it in Open Ultra League. I was waiting for this to come out because Pidgeot was literally one of the mons that was just like, even though it's debuffed or even though they nerfed it a little bit, it's still really freaking strong, standing at #6 in the lead. It's incredibly powerful because its ability to literally erase, well, not really erase, but it resists Giratina Altered, takes down Cresselia, Swampert, Togekiss, Obstagoon. It has a very, very powerful, it's very powerful against this overall meta. For those of you that have been playing for a while, you probably have enough XL candy to build an XL Pidgeot, and in the lead, it's insanely powerful. Now, of course, you have to watch out for a few things. Pidgeot can go down to Steel types, which is basically Empoleon. Registeel and the Pancake love Pidgeot, so just be careful of that. You also have Melmetal, Charizard, Lapras, Water types, Melmetal is still a giant lugnut of death, and it will transform, and it's a Decepticon, meaning it's going to try to destroy you and your Elo. Charizard also does really well against Pidgeot for the fact that Dragon Breath does really strong, and Blast Burn is really powerful. As you see here, Pidgeot is really good across the board. Not so good in the closer, just because it can be prone to getting nuked by a few things. However, it's still really powerful. As you see here, a really powerful lead. It's great to see that Pidgeot is going to make its way. And like I said, level 50 Pidgeot is actually a pretty dang good lead. As you see here, a lot of new things, old things and new things come true. Pidgeot's a top lead. You're going to see a lot more flip-flops, throwing rocks, rock sliding, natural disaster, and then magnitude 69420 earthquake, as in California, where I live, by the way, so yeah. Anyways, as you see, other leads, basically Cresselia, etc. Cofregus is also a pretty good lead. Not so much as Pidgeot, though, just because as you see Pidgeot, you probably have one. If you don't, it's really freaking good, and I definitely recommend you try it. And a lot of people I know are actually waiting for Pidgeot to get unbanned so they can use it in Open Ultra League. But as you see, old combinations still ring true, old leads. If you used a team before, basically what I'm saying, it shouldn't take you too long to adjust to this new meta. Talonflame is still the most powerful lead overall, just because of its ability to break shields, and not a lot of things resist both Flame Charge and Brave Bird. Alright, next up we got save switches. So, remember how I mentioned there's going to be a lot of pancakes? It's going to look like breakfast, and why am I making... Breakfast Club was a really old show back in the day. I didn't watch it a lot, but you know what? What I mean by Breakfast Club is, for all those of you that do have an XL G-Fist, you're probably going to see it as a save switch a lot, or you're just going to see it a lot in general. It is statistically, however, a lot more powerful of a save switch this time around. Politoed actually ranked higher in this list from the last season, but with the Weatherall buff, the statistics pretty much put it a little bit below down here, which is why it's number 5 and 6 now. But that's not to say that Politoed still isn't incredibly powerful. With Blizzard, you are able to wipe Giratina's face off the basic... If you're able to bait both shields or Blizzard through shields, Giratina dies. And it's freaking hilarious. I've Blizzarded one before, but not with a Politoed, with Empoleon. But Politoed is still a very powerful save switch. Registeel is also a well, I wouldn't say Registeel so much, but Greedent's also a very interesting save switch. If you figure your opponent doesn't have a Machamp, Greedent actually core breaks a lot of things. It could be Giratina Cresselia or Swampert Cresselia as a save switch. So it's a very interesting mon to use. In fact, Greedent, because Body Slam is so spam, you can actually beat Charizard as well. Even though this is a super close matchup, along with Togekiss, the fact that you are able to squeeze out a matchup is pretty interesting and just shows you how much of a giant booty Greedent really does. It's a chickbunk, but between that giant that giant tail is some really thick legs, and those legs are able to deal a ton of damage. Well, technically not really the legs, because it's not leg slam, it's body slam, you know what I mean? But you get the idea. But save switches are still pretty much the same. Cresselia is still an incredibly powerful save switch. That doesn't change at all. G-Fist will be powerful, and so does Giratina Altered. Basically, very minimal changes for the save switch, with the exception of Greedent, if you really want to give it a shot. You don't have a Greedent XL because it's super expensive. Cresselia and Giratina Altered still works, and of course, like I mentioned, the Pancake. Alright, now the one thing that never really changes for Open Ultra League is literally the closers. The Giant Trash Can, Titanic's Iceberg, and the Molten Rock, or, you know, I'm sorry, I got something for Registeel, that's a trash can. I got the Iceberg, but I don't know what Regirock, I don't know, Golem, something like that? I don't know. Anyways, this is the list that relatively doesn't change too much. Closers are still Wild Charge users. All of the Regis, just because they have insanely powerful closing moves, or just powerful charge moves in general. And of course, G-Fist, because Rock Slide and Earthquake is a powerful moveset, and Earthquake targets and can KO a lot of things. That, and then you have Ho-Oh. This is really random. Don't use Ho-Oh, use Talonflame. If you have Talonflame XL, use that. It's the most powerful lead in the game. It's really freaking strong, and it's the reason why the meta flipped itself. The meta literally flipped itself on its head when Talonflame XL released, because it's really that good. Other than that, Wild Charge users are still the same, and you have Lugia with Dragon Tail here. But basically, if you notice the top, or if you've been using this list for a while, the top 10 basically didn't change. Regis are still powerful as closers. You could still probably see Registeel XL if you have one running around in Open Ultra League. It's still very, very powerful. Its ability to wall Cresselia, do really well against Giratina Altered, and Focus Blast Melmetal and Obstagoon to death makes it incredibly powerful and still the most powerful closer in Open Ultra League. And that's GG's. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. There are a few minor, well, I wouldn't say minor, because if you see if you see a lot of Pidgeots and a lot of Gradients running around, don't blame me. I'm just saying, they're out there. They could be out there, and they're pretty dang good, but it's very interesting. It's going to be really interesting, because if you do see Gradient / Pidgeot running around a lot, that means fighters / Machamp, etc. are gonna seem really freaking good, right? Well, just be a little careful, because in the early meta, or just like in a lot of the top meta teams, Machamp has been a very powerful lead along with Obstagoon. So if you plan on using it in the lead, just be very careful, because you can possibly see the 459 Blackhawk or something like that, or 420 Destroyer, which is the Pidgeot of Death, or a Chickmunk that's really fat and hefty and XL, because XL is expensive running around. But I wouldn't say they're not gonna be super game breaking. For those of you that like Pidgeot though, guess what? You can use Pidgeot XL, like I keep reminding you, because you're probably gonna see it a lot for Open Ultra League. Other than that, if you use a team from before, I'm still using my old team. It's still really freaking good, and I'm still going to use it because, you know what, I'm bored and I don't want to change anything. And it's still a really statistically pretty dang good team. Anyways, hopefully you guys are going to enjoy Open Ultra League now that Pidgeot's unbanned, and there are a few minor changes. Still not too much, or not too groundbreaking or earth-shattering, so if you have an old team you like, you shouldn't have to adapt too hard to the meta. Or like I mentioned, if you like using Machamp lead, guess what? Hopefully you find a Greedent in the lead. Just be careful Pidgeots though, because Pidgeots really do have a convincing win against Machamp. Even if you are able to get in Rock Slide through shields, one Feather Dance basically makes you very susceptible to Pidgeot just being like, I can eat a bunch of rocks since you have a -2 attack. So again, just be careful, because Pidgeot's gonna be Pidgeot's gonna be everywhere. That's just my prediction. Anyways, other than Pidgeot, again, there are very few minor changes, so you won't take you too long to adapt, or if you have to make minor adjustments to your team, just do so, and it should be okay. Hopefully you enjoy having a level 50 Pidgeot, because it's going to be really good this time around for Open Ultra League. Other than that, good luck on your Go Battle League sets. If you do me a huge favor, please like and subscribe. It's totally free. All you have to do is put your mouse on that bottom little box to subscribe. You can easily subscribe because the sub tab will pop, and I made it easy for you. Really appreciate my current subscribers. Again, good luck on your Go Battle League sets, and I will see you guys on the next video.
Ciao!